next fraction session, we're going to be concentrating on equivalent fractions. The word equivalent means something that is the same or equal to. And in the last video, we found out that 1 whole was equal to 2 halves. Therefore, 1 whole and 2 halves are equivalent. So what exactly are equivalent fractions? Let's explain by looking at this next example. Here we've got 1 half. Now looking at that 1 half, it's the same as 2 quarters. So 1 half and 2 quarters are equivalent fractions. 1 half and 2 quarters are also the same as 3/6. So 1 half, 2 quarters and 3/6 are equivalent fractions. We can also see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/10 are equivalent as well. So 1 half, 2 quarters, 3/6 and 5/10 are all equivalent fractions. Let's have a look at another example. Here we've got 1/5. 1/5 is the same as 2/10. 1/5 and 2/10 are equivalent fractions. If I put another 1/5 on there, then that means that we need to put another 2/10 on there. So 2/5 and 4/10 are equivalent fractions. Let's have a look at this visually. I've got a rectangle there. If I was to split this rectangle up into 16ths, so I've got 16ths. I've coloured in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 16ths. If I take the same rectangle, it's exactly the same size, and this time divide it up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equal parts. 8 gives me the denominator, and I've coloured in 1, 2, 3, 4. So that gives me the numerator. So 8/16 and 4/8 are equivalent fractions, and in the diagram you can clearly see that the 8/16 and the 4/8 coloured are the same. Here I've got the same size rectangle again, and this time I've divided into 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts, so we've got quarters, and I've coloured in 2 of them. Again, the same section has been coloured in, and we can see that they are all equivalent. So 8/16, 4/8 and 2 quarters are equivalent fractions. I've taken that same rectangle, but this time I've divided it into 2 equal parts. So my denominator has given me halves, and 1 half is coloured in. So 8/16, 4/8, 2 quarters and 1 half are all equivalent fractions, proved by the diagrams that we have here. Often we'll see a problem like this. 1/4 is equal to 4 something. Now the denominator is missing. This is where our times tables and our division facts help us out. And we need to use them to work out what that missing denominator actually is. Now, whenever we're looking at working out a missing number, we need to look at the clues that are already there. Now, that missing number isn't going to help us at the moment, but we need to look at the numbers that we've got. So we're going to look at the numerators. So I need to think about how can I turn 1 into 4 using my multiplication or division facts. Well, because I know my 4 times table, I know that 1 times 4 equals 4. And the trick is, with fractions, whatever you do to the top, you need to do to the bottom. So I'm going to times by 4 here. So 4 times 4 would be 16. So we found out what that missing denominator is. It's 16ths. And just to show you in a diagram here, I've got 1/4 and 4/16 coloured in. We can see that the equivalent fraction has been coloured in on the same sized square. Let's have a look at another one. Here we've got 4/12 is equal to something thirds. This time the numerator is missing. So we're going to do a similar method again. We've got our 4/12, we've got our thirds, and this is our missing number here, our missing numerator. So we're going to think, how can I turn 12ths into thirds using my multiplication or division facts? Well, because I know this, I know that 12 divided by 4 equals 3. So like I did in the last calculation, I'm going to do the same to the top this time. I'm going to divide 4 by 4. So 4 divided by 4 equals 1. And to show you this visually with a diagram, we can see that we've got 4/12. This rectangle's been divided up into 12 equal parts, and 4 are coloured in. This time the same rectangle's been divided up into thirds, and 1 is coloured in. So we can clearly see that 4/12 and 1/3 are equivalents. Got a challenge for you next. Here are some similar style problems. Using your multiplication and division facts, can you have a go at working out what these missing numerators are in these problems? Have a go. Remember to pause the video and then come back to check to see if you were correct. Let's see how you got on. So, in this first one, we've got 2/6 is equal to something 12ths, and we need to find out what that something is, what that missing numerator is. So we're going to use 6 and 12, the denominators, to help us out. We need to think about, well, how can we turn 6ths into 12ths? Using our 6 times table, we know that 6 times 2, or 2 times 6, equals 12. Whatever we do to the bottom, we need to do to the top. So we're going to times this by 2 as well. 2 times 2 is 4. So our missing numerator is 4/12. Moving on to the next one. We've got 6/24 are equal to something quarters. Our numerator is missing here. So we're going to use our denominators again. We're going to think about, how can I turn 24 into fourths? Well, I can divide by 6, because 24 divided by 6 is 4. So I'm going to do the same to the top. 6 divided by 6 is 1. So therefore the answer is 1/4. 6/24 is equal to 1/4. This third one, it was a little bit different. The numerator that was missing was over on this side. So we've got something 25ths is equal to 1/5. Now this might look a little bit more tricky, but we actually just do exactly the same thing. We just work from the other side. So looking at the numbers we've got, we think about, well, how can I turn fifths into 25ths? And using our 5 times table this time, we know that 5 times 5 equals 25. So we're going to do the same on this side. 1 times 5 equals 5. So we end up with 5 25ths is equal to 1/5. And that's how we use our multiplication and division to work out equivalent fractions. Part 3 of our fractions videos will be coming soon. Keep a lookout for it.